Hey guys, I'm back again, and this time I've got a very special guest with me. Who comes from a very prolific background. So Harshit graduated from IIT BHU back in 2012. Also went on to do his MBA from ISB. Besides, he was a part of very big companies as well as a lot of startups as well. So Harshit was a part of Samsung. He was a part of Oyo, Spinny, and GS Engineering and Construction, which I can't basically forget because that was the company in which I also got my first job in. And right now, Harshit is the CEO of Collegesearch. And he has been an angel investor in more than I think 7 8 companies. I read it on your profile, Harshit. So I welcome you, and thanks so much for taking out time at 8 o'clock in the evening to have a conversation on this channel.
Thanks, Rishikesh, for this introduction. And yes, I think it's a pleasure to be here. It's always good to have a conversation around things, my knowledge and my experience with these people who can basically use this information in somewhat way or the other. So thanks for having me here.
So Harshit, whenever it comes to, finding out a college, it reminds me of my own childhood, right? When I
Hmm.
actually basically went to Kota, but could not crack IIT. And so I was a kind of a decent enough intelligent guy, but could not cope up to the atmosphere of Kota. Got a lot depressed, frustrated, could not crack IIT. But then there were a lot of uncles who used to come to our homes and used to advise us, your आपके बेटे का IIT में नहीं हुआ, तो आप एक काम करो, बैंगलोर में एक पेसेट करके
Hmm.
कॉलेज है, वहां जाके
Hmm.
एडमिशन करा लो. तो it reminds me of that kind of a channel. Before all
Hmm.
these search platforms like College Search basically, came into the picture. So I would like to understand from you, like, how is it different from the first principles thinking, if you think about, right, those uncles guiding the parents, where they should get admission, to College Search helping the students find out the right college for them.
So I think Rishikesh, you gave the right example, and it reminded me of my time. So just like you said, I went to Kota also to do my IIT preparation. So right, you just like when these uncles come and have a discussion, they have a knowledge in a limited area based on their experience, their surroundings. And if you come from a family who is not well educated, then you will also have a limited basically surrounding which is talking about these things. So what happens in the previous times with limited scope of search for students, they don't find the right opportunity. What that happens is, okay, मेरा ये भैया यहाँ गया था, उसकी फिर आगे जॉब बढ़िया लग गई, तो मैं भी वहां चला जाता हूँ, हाँ? Now with platforms such as College Search, what happens is, first of all, you have access to more than 15,000 colleges and universities across India. So which is huge. Matlab, yes, you have to go into one only, but this kind of availability of information, or and the information is not just the name of the college or the photos of the college. You have each and every detail, like placements, like who the faculty is teaching, what are the courses that they do, a lot of information on their basically, I'll say, alumni base, reviews from the students who have already passed, who are currently studying. So, such varied information helps you to take a right decision. And what happens is, मैं बिल्कुल हूँ कि अगर मैं कोटा जाता हूँ, कोटा से मेरी रैंक आ जाती है जेई में, तो मैं आईआईटी चला जाता हूँ, या फिर मैं एलएन जाता हूँ, मेडिकल में रैंक आती है, मैं कॉलेज में मुझे गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज मिल जाएगा. बट अगर वो नहीं मिला, तो उसके बाद कंपैरिजन बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. तो वो कंपैरिजन करने में हेल्प मिलती है बेस्ड ऑन कितनी फीस है, क्या हॉस्टल्स मिलेंगे, कैसी स्टडी है. तो इवेंचुअली इट हेल्प्स दैट. तो अगर मैं बोलूंगा ना, इन ऑल इट्स अ वन स्टॉप सॉल्यूशन फॉर स्टूडेंट्स, जो बेसिकली हेल्प करता है स्टूडेंट्स को टू टेक द राइट डिसीजन इन देयर करियर्स.
Right. So in their career, Harshit, I want to actually listen from you because there are
Hmm.
a lot of folks, who come from tier two or so-called tier three, engineering or graduation colleges, and they somehow, feel disheartened, of not being able to get into a premier, college to study. What will be your advice to them, and how can they make sure that they can come at par, with those people who are actually studying in IITs?
I say two or three advices that I would like to give them. First is uh, they have to get out of the region they are there and they have to explore new regions. So let's say if I say to very frank, I belong to a city called Agra. Okay, yes, it's known in terms of Taj Mahal and a lot of things, but education as a whole is not that much grown there. In terms of higher education, yes, very few colleges, and that too outside the city, not in the city. So to get out of that city and explore and get into a tier one city of your current nearby state will also help these students. So I will say that get to those metro cities or the tier one cities of your state. And second is uh, don't get limit to actually what you know. I think there's an option to explore. So they should explore more. So if I say that yes, BTech is one branch where students can go and study, but besides BTech, there are multiple other things that they can study. So why not go and explore? Because you might not be equivalent to an IIT BTech student right now, but as the people are growing in terms of their careers, as the company is exploring in terms of the skills, I will say there is no skill, no job that one cannot basically take in the time coming. So I think explore more, take the courses which are might not look so lucrative at this point of time, but interests them, and get into a better college, into a better tier one city will also help them grow into this, I think.
Harshit, related to this, there's a question like, because right now a lot of shortlisting that happens inside companies,
Mm.
especially at the level of freshers, there's a lot of human bias which is involved, like maybe, in terms of the college, in terms of the degree, maybe who is the hiring manager, what is his background. There's a lot of human biases involved. In this case, do you feel that, CVs, the physical CV are not able to do justice to the candidates? They are not actually presenting them in the right way forward, especially for freshers.
So it becomes difficult to be very frank because obviously the people who are freshers don't have experience to show. So you can only select students based on either what they have done in the college or their graduation marks, their 10th, 12th marks. So it becomes a little difficult to choose. So what happens if I tell you in the terms of hiring freshers, what companies look after is a decent performance in their curriculum in terms of their 10th, 12th, or in their graduation. That makes the basic hygiene filter that they decide. Okay, but besides that, a lot of much depends on the interview. So let's say when you are sitting in front of a hire manager, how your communication skills are, how your professionalism in terms of when you're speaking to them, and how's your knowledge that you have acquired recently. So I say yes, manually things are happening, and but considering the basically the pool, the talent pool that is available in this country, right? No one would like to just hire someone right from the price. What they will do is they have a lot of students who can come in there, so they always have more supply than the demand that they have. So what they do is they put some criterias to choose the best, but I will say that's not the criteria in every company. Lot of companies. So if I say very good examples are startups. Yes, startups hire from pedigree institutes like IITs and IIMs. But if I have been working in startups from past, I think 6, 7 years now, and I have seen people from decent normal colleges doing decent degrees and have rose to a levels of leaderships in startups because of the skill that they can do, the hustle they can do. So I'll not say it's completely biased. Yes, there are some manual biases based on the people who are involved in the hiring process. But if you have done a decent education, you pass on the decent filters, your communication is good, your professionalism is good in terms of when you're sitting in an interview, then I think you don't need to worry. You will be selected in one company or the other.
Superb, superb. I think this is going to be pretty motivating for all the people who are actually watching it.
Hmm.
Life is a staircase. Don't stop at one stair just because you missed out on one thing.
Of
Something
course.
will happen. Now, Harshit, taking you back to your early, professional life when you started with Samsung and then went to GS Engineering and Construction. So you were doing an engineering job. Now, how your thought
Hmm.
process has actually changed from 2012 onwards, what made you do an MBA and then get into a business head kind of a role? If you could, take us through the entire journey.
Sure. So how I got into an engineering job is I'll tell you, like at that point of time when I was in IIT, um, um, we call it now that going through the herd. So it was like if you are in a core profile, you will get good job, you will get good salary. And myself being a chemical engineer, for me, good job is getting into petroleum industry, construction industry of the oil and gas. So I followed that herd. I got into this industry and I started working into that industry. Over the period of 5 years, when I worked through this industry, and been into Korea, learned from the best people globally, and even in India with the best minds when I work with. What I figured out is that I myself was not just an engineer. So, to be very frank, if you see my name, there's an Agrawal behind. So you always have that bania in your blood, if I say. So there's always like, yeah, you have to do something of your own, right? Matlab, you have your own business, you have to get into build something. Now, in this engineering industry, what happens now? These are traditional industries who are multi-billion dollars are there at stake. So you can't just innovate or invent so frequently. There have been the setups and everything is there. So there's not much scope. Like no one just pick up and set up an petroleum industry, right? So I started looking into that at how can I get into those businesses and in those angles in terms of entrepreneurship. So that point of time, just like you said, didn't got into college search kind of a platform, but that was the advice from my seniors, from my big brothers who did MBAs from colleges, and they gave me an advice that if you want to change your stream, get into an MBA. So then I decided that okay, if you have an IIT, you have to get into the best MBA college also. So got into ISB, and post ISB, I was very clear. So this time I didn't follow the herd. Everyone wanted to get into a consulting job. Everyone wanted to get into McKinsey, Bain, but I knew that no, I want to get into a startup because that will give to me a journey of building something. So I did that, and I think since post my IS MBA, I think there is no stopping in building something which I've not done. I've been doing 0 to 1 right from there. Right, maybe it's Oyo, then it's Spinny, then I worked with Sunstone for 2 years, and now I'm building College Search. So this is my fourth startup. Every startup I spent almost 2 years before, and in those 24 months that I've spent, I have built things from 0 to 1. So it's been an experience that I like, and that's what I'm trying to continue and trying to build something. So maybe not a that bania shop as of now, but yes, on that same lines, and maybe the goal that I have taken for College Search, it might become one of the biggest platforms in India.
Absolutely. So, one of the key insights that we can draw from this is that, it's all about exploration. It's all about finding your own self, and that happens over a period of time. So there's no good
Mm.
answer to the question that, where do you see yourself in 6 years down the line?
Yes, 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 yes.
Right. Next is like so since you have been a part of education in and out, like because you were a part of Sunstone, and I completely
Mm.
understand the model of Sunstone as well, and now you are a part of College Search. You must have seen, the higher education, the entire, infrastructure around higher education inside India. And to be very frank, like, as per my observation, the condition is not that good. If you leave behind the top 2-3% of the colleges, what are the problems that India is facing, and what is the, way forward, to make sure, since we can't build 100 IITs or 100 IIMs, but what is the way
Mm-hmm.
forward so that we can make the educated Indians more employable?
Great. So I think if you said that you're aware of Sunstone a little bit, so I think the problem that you are saying is the reason that Sunstone got born in this higher education industry. So, right, you said that yes, the higher education industry is not very much transformed, though it's on that path. A lot of reform has changed in the new education policy that came recently. But yet, yes, a lot has to be done. So I'll say few things that I feel still needs a lot of improvement. One is belongs to the accessibility of good education. So if you get into a tier one city or in a good city, non-metro also, but a tier one, you will find good education institutes with a good peer group, good faculties. But as you go downward into tier two, tier three cities, the kind of education that is provided deteriorates a little. So, and that is because the availability of funds, availability of resources, and a lot of other things that colleges refer to. Second, I'll say is, if you get into a college, still most of the colleges are teaching in a traditional method. So that I'll say is the quality of learning. But if you go into the hiring side of the India, or I'll say into the global world, it has evolved a lot. So now a lot of discussions happen on the practical skills, on the skills that you can directly give it to a company or to a process. So uh, now our education system also had to get evolved. So if I say a good tagline which I say is, your study should be which makes you employable. It should not be just giving you a degree, if I say. So
Hmm.
doing for the name of getting a degree
Hmm.
will not get you anywhere until you're getting into a very good brand name.
Hmm.
If you are into IIT IIMs, yes, you have cracked the exams, you are in that top 1% of the students, and you will basically hustle through the life and take it to what is required to be in that top percent of India. But if you are into a tier 2, tier 3 city, that education has to get evolved into that employability, and that is something that I feel is missing. And though it has become good in the new employability, new NEP policy that came, but I think it requires more working right now. Third is, I will say is faculty quality. So if you say that as of now, the most of the jobs comes in computer science, BTech computer science, most of the jobs come. So all students want to get into that course, but there is a lack of faculties in tier 2, tier 3 cities, colleges. There's not much faculties available. And because a person who's teaching tier 2 BTech in computer science has
Hmm.
to be a computer science graduate. And if
Yes.
you are a computer science graduate and have studied a good basically now, then you'll get into a job. You don't want to go and teach. So that's the gap that I find. So I think a lot of improvement required there. And one thing that I also feel is tech integration. So edtech is evolving, but
Hmm.
still we still basically read through those notebooks. We still basically don't use digital means to teach students. Still, if I feel that things are not automated, handwritten things are going on, which basically makes the process inefficient. And what I seen is in Sunstone, what they have done is they are able to bring the best professors, and because of the tech integration, they're able to give that learning across India colleges from one place, which is not the case in those sections. So these things basically are missing, and I'd say that if these get transformed, eventually a good education system we can build for our coming generation.
Superb. Like these three pointers are so very important. And whatever
Mm,
time I have spent on ground, Harshit, what I've realized is that once we go into the tier one colleges, the focus is on academics as well as placements. And once you say
right.
place, it's not only about the salary; it's about 100% placement. Is what is the
Uh,
once you go a notch down, the focus is more on the admission side of it. So
Admissions. Yes.
they're ready to invest a lot of money on the admissions, but if you talk about
Uh,
faculty salaries and all, it's very mere 50, 60,000. Who will teach?
Correct. Because you get a job better, na, in that. So you will not find a faculty shortage in chemical engineering or mechanical engineering. You will get people because there's a job shortage. But in those section, yes, it happens.
Yes, and then the metric changes to 100% placement to, do we have 3 4 candidates who have got 10 lakh, which can be marketed to get the admissions in. Because पर्ची तो
Uh,
चाहिए, लोगों को पर्ची चाहिए. अब आईआईटी में नहीं हुआ तो नीचे में तो जाना ही है. और जो एकदम ही नीचे में होते हैं, उनको तो है कि भाई हमारे पास तो बॉटम ऑफ द फनल आना है, तो कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे तो ऊपर तक।
हाँ, आएगा ही आएगा। हाँ हाँ हाँ, मतलब you have seen those signboards ना, Amazon 42 lakhs
यस।
and Microsoft 55 lakhs. So that's what you're talking about. I know that, I know that. Yes. See, there will always be a top percent funnel. Funnel goes top to down. You'll always find some good students in every college who will crack those companies. But yes, we need to work on the bottom section also, I think. That is specifically required. And you will find some very good students in the bottom funnel. If you work with them now, we have seen them transformed into
Yes,
getting into good jobs. So I think there's a lot of scope to work.
absolutely. But in that case, college also has to change their mindset, right? In terms of.
Of course, of course. It's not, it's, I will say it's not a one-way journey. It has to be a two-way journey. Yes.
Superb. Now, Harshit, like since college search, if we talk about college search, there are a lot of similar players. Will not say the exactly name.
Hmm.
You have college Dekho, you have college Dunia. How is
Dunya.
college search different in terms of its vision and in terms of its operational, kind of a model?
Right. So you said that yes, there are platforms, and yes, there are platforms, and they are bigger than college search at present in terms of business. But I say that how college search is different is that we do everything based on the user. So if I say that how all the platform works in the digital media, including these kind of platforms, and even college search used to in the earlier phases, that how you get ranked in Google, how if someone searches, you come on top, right? But we have changed that vision in college search. What we say is, let's think what user want. So at present, if you say that user likes to have a information basically in a concise manner, because considering the Gen Z that we are basically catering right now, they have a very short span of attention time. So they just want to quickly have that information, know exactly what the points are that they have to do, and they should make a decision. That's what they require, right? So we have started and transforming college search into that kind of a platform. So what we are thinking in terms of user is not just that okay, we ran Google, or we should just put in so much information that anyone searches it comes on our website only. No, yes, there you will get all the information, but it will not be overloaded on you. When you ask for, you will get more information, but if you want it in a comprehensive, concise manner, you'll get that. One is that. Second is we are trying to create a complete ecosystem. So it's not that it's just a platform where you'll get a college information or you can just take an admission. It's a platform where you'll get information on your financing. There's a scholarship. We're also working on the upskilling part. So let's say if you are in college and you want to upskill now in terms of learn more new skills, you will get that also in our platform. We are also working on with some placement companies also, that how we can integrate that part also into our platform. So what we are saying is, if you if you remember the tagline of LIC, that जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी, तो what we say is college search is college के पहले भी और college के बाद भी. So that's what we are talking about, कि आप कॉलेज में जब जाना चाहते हो, आप उससे पहले भी मेरे साथ हो. मैं कॉलेज में भी आपकी हेल्प करूंगा, और कॉलेज आप निकल भी जाओगे एज एन एलुमनाई, then also you will get the entire ecosystem. So that's what makes us different from any other player in this industry.
That is such a superb thing, yaar. Matlab, kyunki, it's such a great emotional support, because
Hmm.
this person goes into the college, he's in a lot of dilemma around. He's not sure whether he's going to be placed or not. And with platforms like College Search coming in, they at least know that there's a platform which will also help them get placed. Yeah.
Right. I think that's the main goal now
Yes.
of getting into a college.
Now, one of the things, Harshit, that we have been observing is that the study abroad segment has been, kind of growing a lot
Hmm.
the last 5, 6 years. And
Correct.
sitting in Bangalore, talking to a lot of kids around, what I've observed is that people have started thinking that rather than going to a tier 2, tier 3 college, right? It's better to get into a good college abroad if they have the financial, things being, set up. What are your viewpoints on that? And
Hmm.
what is the future of this industry?
Okay, good. So let me answer your first question, which is like what my view is on that. If you're not getting a good college here, let's go abroad and get into a good college there. So I'll say yes, that is the mindset, because if I see India, it's highly competitive. I think cracking a JEE exam or our MBBS exams is not easy, and we have seen this in the history also, right? So I say yes. When you give these exams, we are not into the top 1%. We look into, okay, how we can go outside, because people explore more returns. And obviously, if you're getting outside India into, you'll say, Europe, Australia, US, then the the ROI on the investments and the kind of earning potential that you get is huge. So I say that is the main reason of this industry growing. And I say yes, one should, if they are capable enough, they have those resources or potentials to explore, and they have that support, I think they should explore. uh, though I say this will change in coming years, because if you have seen the recent changes in these policies, Indian government is now inviting foreign universities to set up in India. So
Yes.
you will see in the coming time, Harvards and MITs of the world will be coming and setting up campuses in India. So what education they were getting outside, they will start getting here. So one thing is that I'll see that this industry is growing and will keep on growing, because yes, there are a lot of potential outside India, and we have seen in the past that Indian talent is being recognized across the world. So that's also makes a plus point there. But I will also say that with time, this thing will change. People will be like to be in India because of these new education institutions setting up in India. And one thing that is supporting the growth of this industry is the ease of regulations. So earlier, everyone wants to get into US. So that was the industry, right? Now with Canada, Australia growing, and now Europe's work visa, so that has extended to a larger extent right now. So 2 years work visa after you get graduate in UK, that helps students to go and study there and take an opportunity. So this ease of applying these work opportunities, plus visa regulations getting really basically easy, I think, in a lot of countries. So that is helping growing this industry. And I say that besides India growing at a faster pace in terms of education, Indian students going abroad, I think is, as of now, what is my information last updated is that India is the second highest uh, in terms of supply of students across the world. More than and if I say that more than I think 1 million students as of now, Indian students are studying abroad. It's somehow. So this number has drastically increased over the past 5 6 years. And so I think it's a growing industry, and we also, so as a college search, if I'll say, we are also venturing into this. Till now we were not exploring this segment, but we have also started exploring this segment. We, the Indians who wanted to go outside and study, we have started giving that an opportunity. More than 250 colleges we are still currently working right now to provide students the opportunity to take admissions outside.
Super. Now, Harshit, I would like to understand, your viewpoints on, is degree really required to get into a job? Like, with a lot of edtech players coming in, like you have a Scalar, Upgrad, and all these,
Mm,
players mushrooming around.
mm,
People have started
mm,
talking that skill-based hiring needs to be done. Degree has no place. But I do understand, degree is important. पर्ची के बिना फिर shortlisting मुश्किल हो जाएगी इतनी बड़ी audience के लिए. So, what are your viewpoints on that? Skill-based hiring.
It's a very tricky question, Rishikesh, because this is what you say, right? You're challenging the Indian education system right now. So I'll give you an example. So ISB doesn't give a degree, right? It's a PGDM diploma certificate.
Hmm.
Similarly,
ISB
I
gives
am
brand,
one. Sorry.
ISB gives a brand name, Arshit.
That's what I wanted to come into. Now, what similarly
I'm
IIMs.
pretty sure, sorry to interrupt, but I'm pretty sure that 80% of the people studying in all these premier B schools अभी तक सर्टिफिकेट भी कलेक्ट नहीं किया है. मेरे को तो 8 साल हो गए, मैंने अभी तक कलेक्ट नहीं किया.
हाँ हाँ, तो मुझे लगता है कि यह डिग्री क्यों चाहिए? उसके 2-3 रीज़न्स हैं आपके। एक है कि अगर मैं अंडर ग्रेजुएट की बात करूँ, तो अंडर ग्रेड के बाद मास्टर्स करने के लिए अगर आप इंडिया के बाहर जाना चाहते हो, जैसे हम स्टडी अब्रॉड की बात कर रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पे यू नीड टू हैव अ रिकॉग्नाइज्ड डिग्री टू गेट एन मास्टर्स आउटसाइड इंडिया, राइट? तो अगर हायर एजुकेशन में आगे जाना है, तो आपको डिग्री की ज़रूरत है, पहली चीज़। सेकंड इज़ अंडर अंडर ग्रेड में होता क्या, आप फ्रेशर हो, तो आपका वर्क एक्स है नहीं। तो देन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम योर ब्रांड नेम, योर कॉलेज नेम से आप थोड़ा रिकॉग्नाइज होते हो। तो इन दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आपकी अगर डिग्री होती है, तो एक समझ में आता है कि आप किस तरह के कॉलेजेस से पास आउट हो। तो उससे एक एक फिल्टरिंग होती है, जैसे आप बोलते हो कि आई थिंक क्योंकि टैलेंट पूल बहुत बड़ा है, तो दैट रियली हेल्प्स। तो मुझे लगता है अंडर ग्रेड में और डिग्री होने से, या फिर मैं डिग्री से ज्यादा मैं बोलूंगा कि उस कॉलेज की पर्टिकुलर डिग्री होने से इट गिव्स यू एन एज ओवर द अदर स्टूडेंट्स। तो मुझे लगता है अंडर ग्रेड में डिग्री की तो काफी वैल्यू है। और एट प्रेजेंट जिसमें हम इंडिया में हैं, जिसमें आई थिंक ओवर द कमिंग ईयर्स रहेगी, जब तक ये ट्रांसफॉर्म नहीं होता, दो सम हैज स्टार्टेड ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग इट। तो अगर आपको पता होगा कि आई थिंक two new institutes started. One is Master Union and second is Scalar School of Technology. They both, they both are not college, right? And they are partnered with some colleges.
Scalar
हाँ,
has
I
partnered
think
with.
बिट्स, हाँ। तो पर वो डिग्री आपको बिट्स की भी ना ऑनलाइन डिग्री है, इट्स नॉट अ फुल टाइम डिग्री। तो अगर आप डिग्री, आप देखो अंडर ग्रेड कर रहे हो और आपको बीएससी बिट्स की डिग्री मिल रही है, ठीक है ना? बट उन्होंने भी उसे कंप्लीटली फ्री नहीं किया है कि हमें डिग्री देंगे ही नहीं, हम आपको एक बीएससी बिट्स की डिग्री देंगे, क्योंकि आप इसके बाहर अगर मास्टर्स करना चाहते हो तो आपको कुछ चाहिए। तो डिग्री की जरूरत है यूजी में अभी भी, और मुझे लगता है कि लेनी चाहिए, बट इट डजेंट डिस्काउंट कि आप स्किल को कम कर लो। क्योंकि
Yes.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि डिग्री है, लेकिन आपके पास अगर स्किल है ना, तो वो
हाँ.
शायद पहले साल हेल्प ना करे, बट उसके बाद जो आपका जम्स मिलेंगे आपको स्किल पे, उसका कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है स्किल इज डेफिनेटली रिक्वायर्ड, उसका तो कोई गैप नहीं है। बट यस, डिग्री यूजी में जरूरत है। पीजी में मुझे लगता है कि व्हेन यू आर गोइंग फॉर एन एमबीए और अ मास्टर्स, वहां पे आपका वर्क एक्सपीरियंस बहुत कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन दे देता है एम्प्लॉयर्स को। तो वहां पर एम्प्लॉयर्स के टेक अ बेट ऑन यू। सो दे कैन से कि ओके, इसके पास डिग्री नहीं है, बट इसके पास मे बी ब्रांड नेम है, नहीं है इसके पास वो स्किल है जिसकी मुझे जरूरत है, मुझे इसके पैसे देने हैं। तो आई थिंक, मुझे लगता है पीजी के अंदर आई थिंक हम काफी ट्रांसफॉर्म कर गए हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट हायरिंग एंड एवरीथिंग। बट यूजी में स्टिल डिग्री इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट, और मुझे लगता है वो होनी भी चाहिए, एक डिग्री इज रिक्वायर्ड एज ऑफ नाउ।
Yes.
तो मेरा व्यू है उस पर ये वाला।
तो एक डिग्री तो करना है लोगों को, और वो
हाँ,
काफी रिक्वायर्ड है।
और
राइट.
यूजी में तो पता है ना, पेरेंट्स निकलने नहीं देंगे जब तक डिग्री नहीं होगी।
इंडिया
मुझे
में
ऐसा लगता है ना।
वैसे भी अभी भी 90% डिसीजंस मैरिज से ही ड्रिवन होते हैं।
हाँ
स्पेशली जैसे मैं और आप बिलोंग करते हैं टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटीज से, तो वी
हाँ,
अंडरस्टैंड दैट.
बिल्कुल आज पूछा जाता है, सही बात है।
यस. Harshit, last but not the least is that, our
हम्म,
audience would like to understand, your way of problem solving. What are some of the problems that you are trying to solve abhi college search mein? What keeps you
हम्म,
motivated to solve these problems? And what, makes you an, entrepreneur even inside an organization?
ओके। तो पहली चीज तो राइट, व्हाट प्रॉब्लम आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व इज, तो मैं कॉलेज सच के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ही बताऊं तो व्हाट आई हैव ऑलवेज ट्राई टू सॉल्व, और मैं अभी भी सॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, इज टू मेक द बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट फॉर द यूजर। So if you, I'm sure that yes, OYO is not a great example right now to give, considering the business and everything. But at that point of time when I worked with them, OYO was working to solve and transform the hospitality industry. तो वहां पे हम ये सॉल्व कर रहे थे कि आप एक बजट क्लास होटल में भी जाओगे तो आपको बेस्ट क्वालिटी रूम मिलेगा, आपको सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा। सिमिलरली व्हेन आई वर्कड इन स्पिनी, मैं वहां पे भी वही चीज सॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि यूजर का एक्सपीरियंस, क्योंकि कार इज अ ऑब्जेक्ट जिसके अंदर हमें पता ही नहीं है कुछ। तो मतलब इट्स अ कम्प्लीटली अनट्रस्ट मार्केट सेकेंड हैंड में। तो हम उसको सॉल्व कर रहे थे, एंड ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 2 years वेयर आई वर्कड हियर, हमने उसको मतलब विद द फाउंडर्स आई ट्राई टू सॉल्व दैट, और काफी हद तक उसे सॉल्व भी किया व्हाइल क्रिएटिंग द ब्रांड लाइक स्पिनी। similarly, Sunstone में when I was working, we were trying to solve the education industry in that respect कि लोगों को यूजर को वो employable कैसे बनाए. तो there's always user was on mind. It was not कि मतलब यूजर को करंटली अभी प्रॉब्लम है क्या उसको सॉल्व करते हैं बाकी सब अपने आप बिल्ड हो जाएगा. तो ये तीनों जगह वैसे ही था. तो कॉलेज सर्च में भी जैसे मैंने बोला ना, आज की तारीख में लोगों को इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए क्विक. दे वांट इट इन अ कंसाइज मैनर एंड दे वांट इट क्विक एंड दे वांट टू हैव इट लाइक कि यार मैं डिसीजन ले पाऊँ. तो मैं वही चीज ट्राई कर रहा हूँ सॉल्व करने की कि आज हमारी जो आप देखोगे कि विद टाइम पहले हम टेक्स्ट बहुत पढ़ते थे, बड़े बड़े ब्लॉग्स पढ़े जाते थे. विद टाइम हम उसको छोटे छोटे समराइज शॉर्ट्स में आ गए, मैसेजेस में आ गए, फिर हम वीडियोस पे आए, आज हम रील्स पे आ चुके हैं.
Yes.
मुझे नहीं लगता कि अब आई थिंक एआई विद एआई कमिंग इन मुझे लगता है कि शायद रील्स भी खत्म हो जाएंगे और हमारे पास एक चैटबॉट ही होगा जिसको हम चीजें लिखते रहेंगे और वो बताता रहेगा बस. ठीक है ना.
वो भी आ गया है
तो
श्वेत अब,
हाँ
पर्सनल एआई
मतलब
का.
आई गया है. हाँ मतलब चैट जीपीटी आई गया है बट मुझे लगता है कि अभी शायद आई थिंक पूरी जेन जी उस पर मूव नहीं करी है सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए. बट विद टाइम वो हम उस पर मूव भी कर देंगे. तो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व इज कि वो इकोसिस्टम में स्टूडेंट्स को कैसे दे पाऊँ कि उनको ना वो टाइम ना लगे. तो मतलब वी आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड इन दैट एआई कैपेबिलिटी कि आपको कुछ आप मेरे यहाँ पढ़ रहे हो, आपने बोला यार मुझे कंसाइज में दे दो, मेरा सिस्टम आपको बना के दे दे, ये 4 पॉइंटर्स हैं सर, इसके बेसिस पे डिसाइड कर लो आप. आपने बोला कि मेरी ये 4 प्रेफरेंस है, आपको मैं 4 कॉलेजेस दे दूं, आपको कुछ नहीं सोचना है. और वो क्यों होगा? क्योंकि मेरा साइंस पीछे का डेटा है, मेरा प्लेटफॉर्म 10 साल पुराना है, मेरे पास इतने स्टूडेंट्स का डेटा है, मुझे पता है कि आप इस तरह के स्टूडेंट आपको ये चाहिए तो आपको यहाँ जाना चाहिए. तो वो क्रिएट करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ मैं. तो दैट इज वन. सेकेंड इज मैंने वो जैसे बोला कि आई थिंक आई एम ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट दैट वन स्टॉप इकोसिस्टम कि आपको ना परेशान ना होना पड़े. मतलब जो मुझे लगता है कि अगर हम ना अलग अलग चीजों के लिए अलग अलग जगह जाते हैं, मतलब आज कॉलेज ढूंढने के लिए कहीं और जाते हैं, लोन लेना है तो हम बैंक के पास जाते हैं, उसके बाद हमें कोर्सेरा पे जाना पड़ेगा अपस्किल करने के लिए, उसके बाद हमें स्कॉलरशिप लेनी है तो कहीं और जाना है, उसके बाद प्लेसमेंट्स के लिए मुझे आईएम जॉब्स नौकरी पे जाना पड़ता है. तो क्या मैं वो पूरा इकोसिस्टम एक जगह लाके दे सकता हूँ स्टूडेंट्स को कि उनको इवेंचुअली वो जर्नी मिल पाए? तो दे आर टू थिंग्स दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व. अगर मतलब होपफुली अगर ये सॉल्व होता है तो शायद यूजर की एक जो बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है वो सॉल्व हो पाएगी. एंड विद एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व दिस एंटायर थिंग विद ट्रांसपेरेंसी. तो व्हाट इफ यू if soon you will see on our website a lot of things have already made live. what we are trying to do is कि आपको कॉलेज की अच्छी बात भी पता चलेगी, आपको बुरी बात भी बताएंगे. तो इस कॉलेज का प्लेसमेंट अच्छा है लेकिन इस कॉलेज में ये चीज खराब है, तो आपको वो भी बताएंगे सो दैट आप वो प्रोफाउंड डिसीजन ले पाओ कि यार इसमें ना ये चीज आपके लिए शायद मैच ना करे, आप देख लो. क्योंकि इवेंचुअली वी आर मेड फॉर द यूजर. तो अगर यूजर को हम ट्रांसपेरेंसी और सही चीज नहीं देंगे तो इवेंचुअली वी शुड नॉट एग्जिस्ट ना. सो दैट्स द आइडिया दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व. एंड दैट हैज बीन मतलब यूजर के अराउंड या बोलते हैं ना कस्टमर फॉन्डनेस, दैट्स द आइडिया. उसी को मैं ट्राई कर रहा हूँ सॉल्व करने की ओवर द लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स. एंड नाउ ऑल्सो आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व दैट सेम प्रॉब्लम.
Absolutely, Harshit. The direction is pretty good because if you see the other platforms, like, these all, I won't name them. Their major revenue channel is from the lead generation, for the colleges. So one way or the other, they keep on compromising with what you're telling about, transparency and trust issues with the candidates. Great, Harshit. It was super, discussing things with you, and it was the first time that we were talking face to face. But it seemed that we knew each other for the last couple of years, and that is the best part of talking to a person who has been an entrepreneur, has been an achiever. But I am pretty sure that this achievement would have come on backs of lots of failures, which is already, which is always there. And I think this actually inspires a lot of people who actually watches these series, to make sure that uh, life is not easy, for anybody, no matter whatever degree you are doing, whatever you have done in your life. It's all about moving ahead, keep on exploring, and then each one of you stand a chance to maybe flourish your career as Harshit has done. Thanks so much, Harshit, for inspiring all of us.
Thank you. Thanks, Rishikesh, for having me. And I think all the best to all the students who are watching this right now.
Thanks, Harshit.